you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. The Hurricanes game is over. Time to break it down. It's all about the U. The Miami Hurricanes post-game show has made landfall. The post-game show is on the SportsTalk305 Network. The show is mastered by Sean Stanley and Chad Shobe. Here's your hosts, Orlando Alzugaray and Mike McCoy.
Oh, Lordy, 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 Lordy. The Canes. Sperano football. Tonight, Tony Sperano is somewhere in the heavens looking down going, my son, Mario Cristobal, settling for field goals. Woo! This was ugly today, bro. This was ugly, is all I can tell you, Mike. We talked a little bit about this. We talked about how we're going to measure how prepared the team is. What do they commit penalties? Do they hurt themselves? Well, they did a lot of that today. And the offense was inept. The receivers were inept. Tyler does not look comfortable, obviously, because of what's going on, the transition, new offense, players, all that kind of stuff. Defense, I give them a lot of props. They fought their asses off throughout this game to stay there. But I got to tell you, that third down, when you go for a running play and you don't put the ball in your quarterback's hands, and then you go on to settle for a field goal when you have not been getting any offense going and you're in the red zone, you know what I thought of? I thought of Mike McDaniel. I thought of 4th and 7 last week. And I said to myself, you need some cojones in some of these play calls. And whether you want to blame Gaddis or whether you want to blame Cristobal, the conservativeness, that was a characteristic at Oregon. I hope this is not a sign of things to come with Mario here. You got to go out there and lay it on the line a little bit more, and I was disappointed with that.
Well, I disagree. Because if let's say that third down, you can say whatever you want about the play call, all right? Would I have done it? No. But let's not act like we haven't seen.
You don't disagree.
No, but hold up. But it wasn't a bad call. Just because I wouldn't have done it doesn't mean it was a bad call. It was I don't think it was a great call in the sense because yes, I would have passed it, but let's not act like Van Dyke is the wrong guy to run that to keeper. We've seen him do it. I saw it with my own eyes last year on UVA. What I wanted to get to was the part that you said about the cojones. Oh, what happens if you go for it on 4th, don't get it? You just coach yourself out of a game rather than keep yourself a chance to win. Because when they hit that third field goal, you were down 8 points.
I get that, and you're still asking you're kind of playing the miracle game, and you're playing the numbers game, and you got it again. And what did you do?
Nothing.
If that's
Nothing.
my problem.
Nothing. But
You know where that argument stands? If the game ended at the 1 yard line. If the game ended at the 1 yard line where you had the chance to go in and you didn't, and then you say, okay, we'll see, we had a chance. But your offense was inept.
it was
The whole
inept.
night.
It
And
was
for
inept.
you to
And
expect to get back there, brother, on third down, I'm not running the ball. I'm putting it in my quarterback's hands.
I am
and
too.
I'm trying to get a first down on 3rd and 6, or I'm trying to score a touchdown. One of the two, but I have to try to win the game there. By settling for the field goal, you just put yourself behind the 8 ball for something that just wasn't realistic. And if you were moving the offense, I get it, man. I'm with you.
Did you see the final stats? I know you got them in front of you.
Yeah.
Look at the final yardage. 392. They outgained it by over 100 yards. Listen, I know that you're asking a lot from the offense, and I'm not saying disagreeing with you. However, at the end of the game, what do you want to give your offense to win what do you want to give your offense? The last thing you want to give them is what? A chance.
Yeah.
And they had it. No timeouts. I get it. But you know what? I'd rather have a chance than go for it. Don't get it. Then, like you said, you just coach yourself out the game. Yeah. That wasn't the reason Miami lost. We could point to a myriad of things.
They lost special teams.
Yep.
Offense was the special teams were. There's nothing special about their teams. I mean, their special teams was absolutely pathetic, dude.
Yeah.
They lost the game for sure.
Yeah.
Actually, because really, you think about it, you hit those 2 field goals and you can get one now, you win the game.
And he missed how many? One, right? He missed one.
You got one blocked and you missed the other.
Oh, that's
so
right.
That's 6 points you left right there. That's 15. Right now, at the end of this game, you get another field goal. That you win the game 18-17. You know what I mean? And Sperano may have come back to life if that happens. Okay.
And they just hired an ex NFL special teams coordinator to coach the special teams here. So I mean, that's definitely got to get looked at, whatever. But that Stevenson thing really, because that was like that was at least a 10 to 14 point swing. Okay, they go down, get a field goal versus Miami could have gotten a touchdown. That's a 10-point swing at minimum. That was one thing. That Van Dyke was off. Okay, Van Dyke was off, and you know who did play a decent game? The O-line that wasn't supposed to play a good game. Everybody's gonna talk about, you were supposed to win this game. No, you weren't. I get it. They were gassed defensively. Defensively, and yes, you could be asking yourself, well, damn, man. They had suspensions. They were gassed in the secondary. They had guys, kicked out in the middle of the game because of targeting. But I disagreed with 2% of Josh Gaddis's play calling. I think he called a good game. Aside from that third down, which I already admitted, I wouldn't have ran that Van Dyke play. I would have thrown it. Okay, but I'm not complaining about 2%. I'm not.
It's too conservative to settle. I wouldn't even settle for a field goal. That would have
been good. Sorry,
that would have been 4 down territory for me.
Sorry,
died with Van Dyke. I already know what I got from my field goal kicker already in that game. A block kick and a missed field goal already. I'm already stinking out the place. Can't cover kicks. I mean, it's terrible. Everything about the special teams has been terrible the entire night. I would have lived and died with. I mean, you lost the game anyway.
Right.
But really, why not put the game in his hands at that moment there? I swear I might have gone for both of them, 3rd and 4th down. I would have put it in Van Dyke's hands.
I get it.
For me in that drive was basically,
I just don't like the knee-jerk reactions. Like Steven Gonzalez, it's a long damn season. It's 3 games into the season. This might be the best team Miami plays all year long. Steven Gonzalez, Cabmate. All right, that's number one. What Papa's talking about when he says that's called coaching, are you referring to greater goods? Muffed punt was terrible and special teams screwed us. That's not a muffed punt is not coaching. That was a stupid decision by Stevenson. That's not coaching.
And the Canes had 4 suspensions, 2 of them that were important, and they got 2 more guys kicked out during that game. Okay?
Miami had 2
more
guys kicked out?
starters. No, Texas
Oh,
A&M.
A&M. Yeah.
What I'm telling you is they got every break in the book. That long pass, they ran the play right away. That wasn't a catch either. I mean, Miami got a crap ton of breaks in this game.
They did, which leads me to believe that
but when you
they
say
beat
this is
themselves.
the best team, I don't know if this is the best team. I don't
I mean,
know.
you talk
It doesn't
about
look
that.
like this Texas A&M team is that good. No, it's
This
just
is
that Miami's really not, they're really mediocre is the thing about Miami.
this
Miami is
was
the team that they're going to have this team that we have watched the first couple of weeks will have many opportunities to lose games in the ACC. There is nothing sure about this team moving forward from here on out. They're not gifted enough, Mike. They're just not. You're just
Miami
not
just played.
talented enough.
Miami just played possibly the best team that they're going to face all season. Let me tell you why I say that. Because this Jimbo team with this different quarterback, they're going to look better, okay? Because Steele called a hell of a defensive game. That kid went, I think, 10 of 20 is what I saw. Not the greatest game. He didn't throw a pick. He was pressured, all that stuff, whatever. This defense is a top 10, top 15 defense.
They played well. They played well. The defense played well. I'll give
I'm
them
talking about A&M's defense. Talking about A&M's defense. It's a top 10 to 15 defense, all right? And I'm sorry, but I'm going to roll with a guy that is calling plays that was just a Broyles Award winner. And there was let's not sit here and say that he was dinking and dunking all game. Gaddis was calling deep routes, okay? The camera's not going to catch all of them.
Yeah, he was trying.
Okay? You can't if the guys are covered, they can't get separation. You gotta dial it down. You gotta, whatever. So let's stop with the coaching part. Okay, this is more mental errors by Miami and just not getting enough what they needed at the end. Because again, you had a chance, and yes, it's a tall task. Ask them to go down the field and all that. And plus, A&M's special teams, they were exactly that. How many times did their punter pin Miami inside like the 10?
Well, that goes on Miami coaching. Their terrible special teams falls on Miami coaching. Punts,
I'm talking about the punt for TAMU.
The return game. What were the stats in the return game for Texas A&M? They must have had a decent return game, right? Because it seemed to me like they got 2 for 54, so they average 20 something on the returns from the kick returns. Punts they covered at least. That was good. But kickoff they did give up a couple there. They had the turnover on the muff punt. Oh no, it was a kickoff, right? Was it a kickoff? No, it was a punt. It was a punt where they muffed it. And then you had the missed field goal and the blocked field goal. I mean, it was just a terrible special teams effort by the Canes overall. But you're right. I mean, listen, defensively, Miami did get 217 yards from the receiving corps. They got 135 on the ground, although some of it was kind of towards the end that they ended up getting some of those yards. But it's just, man, you just would have liked a cleaner game. I would have liked less mistakes because that falls. They didn't commit those mistakes in the first 2 games against lesser teams. Mm-hmm. You go up against a better team. And you lose the turnover game. Well, they didn't lose time on possession at least.
No, it was 34 minutes, and my magic number was 40.
Penalties went up this week, went to 7 for 52, which that's not terrible, but they weren't. The problem was it's 7 for 52. It was the timing of those penalties. They were at the worst time every time they did get one. They didn't get a ton, but the mistakes, the penalties, special teams, weak offense, it was tough, man.
If I told you before the game started that Miami would lose 17-9, and I didn't tell you anything, I didn't tell you if it was 3 field goals, if it was a safety and a touchdown, you'd say what?
I'd say, I thought it would be a little tighter because that's kind of that's why I took the points. I told you I picked them to lose. I didn't think that they would win, but I thought they could have kept it closer. And when I look at some of the decisions and some of the things, they easily could have kept it closer. Easily. If they didn't, all they had to do is hit the 2 field goals. That's it. It's exactly what I thought it would have been. 17-50.
One was blocked and one was missed. Listen, man, I'm encouraged.
17-50. That's exactly what I thought it would have been. But those are, to me, that's what stands out. It's not so much that you lost. It's the way you lost.
And
untimely penalties, the turnovers, the mistakes, and poor play on 2 sides of the ball, offense and special teams. Defense was the only one that I got to give them love, man. They did all right.
Balled, man. LT balled. DJ Ivy told everybody to kiss his ass.
Hey, listen, DJ Ivy doesn't have anything to kiss. Nothing. It's listen. It's about goddamn time he showed up.
Okay, it's about time, but guess what? What happens if you played a terrible game today?
He needs to go sit in a corner and show up like that a whole bunch of other times.
He does, but he did it in the biggest game of the season so far.
He needs to keep doing
and
it.
And TVD did it.
As far as I'm concerned with DJ Ivy, that was an aberration. Okay? Until proven otherwise. So please don't brag to me about a guy that never shows up and finally showed up.
Hey, if he didn't show up, we'd be talking about it. And what everybody say coming into the game, you need your best players to play well. He had a better game than Tyler Van Dyke did.
Yeah, but he's had a shitty career.
He has.
He needs 7. In other words, there's when you have a bank account and you like don't pay things and you have way more money going out, you're overdrafted. You're in the red. Okay, DJ Ivy is in the red. Like he picked up a couple bucks and he paid off some of his debt. But his Apple Card right now, when he looks at it, he owes still a lot of money. You remember in New Jack City when Ice-T looked over to Pookie, said, "Pookie, you owe a lot of people. DJ Ivy, you owe a lot of people." So nice start. Man. Nice start. But just like Pookie, you owe DJ Ivy. You owe.
All right. Yeah. Now that you put it that way, I'm trying to see. LT flashed. He had a nice game. Did you see the carries? I think I tweeted it mid-third quarter, mid-fourth quarter. At one point, the carries were 15 and 14. Henry Parrish and Knighton. Thad had 1 carry.
Yeah.
And I think it's because there were some plays you're like, oh, why don't you give that to Thad or whatever? Listen, Rooster was running hard up the middle, but they needed speed in this game.
Exactly.
They needed speed in this game.
Right. If you would have gotten closer to the goal line, guess who would have come out? Probably Thad would have come out to power something in or something like that. Or there wasn't a lot of 3rd and short, 4th and shorts.
Right.
They were
3rd
and 4th and longs. And so you needed to throw a lot or throw some screen or something.
Yeah.
And you need somebody in open space. Those guys are better.
Oh,
that decision I don't have a problem with. That's a nice problem to have, that you have all these backs that you can rely on. So that's a beautiful problem to have. I wish the receivers were as gifted as the backs. I wish they were as consistent as the backs can be. And, that's unfortunate right now. This is something that he's going to have to deal with right now for now is Tyler Van Dyke.
And we just talked about it, John. Garyvo. Thad had at one point the carries were 15, 14. Parrish, Rooster, and Thad 1. It's not where was he tonight. It wasn't his game to play. It was a different type of game. He would have been the big man guarding the guard out on the perimeter in this game if he was in there. But yeah, man. I mean, look, I'm encouraged. I don't feel terrible. Miami, this was at Alabama last year where Miami lost 40-something and they didn't even hit 20, okay?
No.
Miami had a chance to win at the end of the game. How they went about it, that's exactly why there are shows like this exist. We're talking about it. I didn't like this. I don't like that. But listen.
You got the unnecessary roughness by Williams.
Yeah. Dumb stuff like that.
And Mallory poor kid, bounces on his head,
Yeah.
but then he has the hold right after. So, it's like these are things that it's
A&M
just
didn't do anything special to beat Miami.
no,
They didn't
no,
do
no.
anything special.
They weren't special.
No.
They're not special.
No.
In fact, they had to bring back a quarterback that hadn't played in a while and everything. So there's nothing. That's why I'm saying that they're not playing a special team. They may have listen, the writer told us what's his name?
Jeff Tarpley.
Jeff Tarpley was fantastic in our pregame show. You should listen to it. He like 60 something players on that team are like true freshmen and freshmen and things like that. So you're talking about a super green team. They might be better by the end of the year, and they probably will be really good next year. This isn't the year where Texas A&M, we're going to look back at the end of the year and say, oh, that was a really good team that Miami played. No, this was a mediocre Texas A&M team that Miami lost to. It's just Miami is mediocre themselves.
Right.
And they weren't good enough to get over the hump in a game like this.
At the end of the year, I could see A&M finishing as a top 15 team. I could see that because they're going to get better from this. They're 24 now. They're going to jump inside the top 20. They're going to jump to at least 21-20. Okay. Whether they are ranked ahead of Miami on Monday, I don't know.
The Alabamas and the
I don't either. I didn't say that. I didn't say that, but I see them as a top 15 team.
You'll drop out of that top 15.
Once
you pick up that third loss, you're out of there. You're done. You're out of the top.
No, I didn't. They're not.
That team, I can already tell you. You can look. I don't know what their schedule is. I got to look at the rest of their schedule, see who's on their schedule. But I have a hard time believing, Mike, that they're going to have an impactful run in the SEC.
They play Arkansas. They're at. They got Arkansas, who had a good game. Well, not a good game, a crazy game today. They should have lost. They're at Mississippi State. They have 3 consecutive road games. So they are home to Arkansas next week. The 3 road games in a row are Mississippi State, Bama, South Carolina. Then they come home, Ole Miss, one today. Then the Gators. Then Auburn, UMass, LSU.
That's what the Gators.
That's a top 20 team. That's a top 20 team by the end of the year. And Miami stood toe to toe with them.
I have a couple more losses there already because they're losing Alabama.
Yeah,
they'll lose to Mississippi State. They'll lose to Ohio, Ole Miss. I don't know about Florida. Maybe Auburn. They're at Auburn. This team does not win in Auburn. Probably they'll beat Mass and they'll beat LSU. Maybe.
Did you see what Arkansas just looked like today?
No, Arkansas is ass,
and they're ranked 10th.
Yeah,
this is exactly why preseason rankings need to stop.
No, Arkansas is not good, but yeah, I don't know. I wasn't impressed with Texas A&M. I got to say,
no, I wasn't either.
I think Jeff nailed it. It's just that they're super green. They don't. Their talent is young right now. Miami just doesn't have enough talent.
Miami, like I said, at least it wasn't. You weren't. We're not blaming the O-line for this game. You know what I mean? And I like that. Okay, I think that receivers will get better down the year. I think that can get better down the year. They're just gonna have to find different ways to spread that ball out. I think that you're gonna. Well, I can't say that. What I was gonna say is less of a tight end, but Gaddis has made it a point. Like you're gonna see 2 tight ends out there a lot. Whether one's in the backfield with Arroyo. And then, Mallory likes to line up in the slot, whatever. I think they're going to keep that. What I was going to say is we just need to go Miami needs to go 4 receivers straight out there. But they're not going to do that because they need a tight end in this offense. Listen, this is a good problem to have. I'm not discouraged at all by the offense. And I think they're going to find a way. Next week is Middle Tennessee State.
I'm totally discouraged by the offense. He doesn't have receivers that he can depend on. So, yes.
You get creative.
I don't know how you
like I said, you get creative.
No, you can't get creative when you have no talent. It's hard to get creative when you have no talent. And I don't know if they're, I don't know if they're dynamic enough to rely solely on the running backs and the tight ends. And so you got to have some chunk plays from your wide receiver group, and those guys cannot be relied on. And let me tell you something. Here's another thing that becomes a real pain in the ass, Mike. If you don't develop 2 or 3 guys that you can count on and you can go to, and you're now rotating 5, 6 guys, 7 guys, and you're trying to figure out who's got the hot hand from week to week, that's impossible for TVD. You know, one guy was saying here, "Hey, did you guys realize that TVD had no zip on his throws?" He there was some throws he had zip on, but what you're not understanding, Carol City Kane 305, there is he doesn't have confidence in what he's throwing. And he doesn't know exactly where these guys like that comeback that Herbstreit was talking about. We don't really know if the receiver didn't run the route the right way, didn't come back fast enough, ran too deep, rounded out the route, whatever. We have no idea because we don't know what was called and how they practice it. And how many times have you practiced that throw with that guy in those kind of moments? And if TVD doesn't have that kind of timing, here's what I'll give you, Carol City. Here's what you have to picture. Okay, so the guy cuts and he comes back. If you throw it too hard, it goes past him into who? The DB. And so then you're trying to put some touch on it so he can come back to it and it lands in front of him. That's what I saw. I saw a quarterback that was that wasn't decisive because he wasn't confident with the people that he's playing with right now. And that's a problem for TVD right now when he's not confident in the receivers that he's playing with. And if you don't know what that receiver is going to run from one route to another because he's an inconsistent route runner, that is torturous on a timing play like that. And so that's why you have no idea what was called. I have no idea what was called, but clearly there's a misconnection right now between TVD and his wide receivers. He doesn't have anything like what he had last year in the comfort zone with the 2 guys he had last year. And that's a problem.
And what you just said was proven by the fact that he made a pinpoint pass on that 3rd and 10 where I think it was Redding caught it right on the line, the one that they went to review.
Right.
That was a dart to the – you couldn't have placed it any better if I gave you a pen and a pencil. What's up, Sean?
Yeah, fired it. Yes, sir, Sean. What do you got? What's coming across the wire?
Just because what you were talking about, Mario Cristobal says wide receiver Xavier Restrepo foot will be out at least 6 weeks.
Oh, my God. Okay. Yeah.
And that was from Manny Navarro.
Mike, you wanna go over
look,
that?
Man, look, again? 6 weeks. You're well into the ACC in that point. All right. And look, you're well into the ACC. You're just gonna have to have. There's no answer. There's not. What do you want me to say? You want me to give it an answer?
That's my concern, my brother.
Nah, man. But see, you want to know what I don't agree with when you say is Miami doesn't have talent. Miami has talent. They have young talent, just like A&M, at the skill positions. It's young talent. It's not proven talent. It's young talent like A&M has that you said.
Well,
no,
but you have many Diaz young talent. So that's the
but Manny Diaz young talent that Miami beat out Alabama for some of these guys. Okay, the Jaleel Skinners, the guys that were just signed. That's what's good. If you want to dig deep for 6 weeks because you have to open up your offense, you got to reach at whatever, right? Okay, I'm not saying the truth.
Hey, listen, you got any ability? Get your ass on the field, Sean.
That's what it's gonna
be. Anybody.
That's what it's gonna look. Again, I came away. I am not discouraged. They played they played a team that's I think gonna be better at the end of the year. And Miami's schedule is still favorable, man. Look, you still have Middle Tennessee next week before you start the ACC. Actually, I think it's Middle Tennessee, a bye, and then you start the ACC. If I'm not mistaken, that's what the schedule is. So you got 2 weeks.
It was but you got to clean it up too.
Yeah.
You get Middle Tennessee next week. You get a bye week,
and then you start at home against UNC.
but when you get back to these games, you can't have the stupid penalties.
No.
Special teams. You cannot
Nope.
afford special teams
Nope.
to be a disaster. If you're not that good, you better be perfect on special teams. You better cover kicks. You better learn how to return it better, and you better hit all of your field goals, bro. I mean, that's unacceptable. I mean, that game was in reach just with those 2 field goals.
Yeah, no, it was. That very first kickoff, the opening kickoff of the game, Miami had their lanes filled. They were there. It was somebody that missed a tackle. They were filled.
Well, no, they weren't.
I don't want to see
Somebody
Tyreek returning punts.
If the guy snuck through and got out to like the 40 or something to open up the game,
just about.
Yeah, no, they didn't do their job, and that's the kind of crap that you can't start the game on the road. And by the way, luckily they bent, but they didn't break.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The defense responded, man.
A&M marched right down. Yeah, they responded, but they marched right down the field, really easy on the game. Luckily, they tightened up at the end there, and that was beautiful. I felt bad for the defense. I really did. They deserved so much better of an outcome today. They really did. They played well enough to win. Yes, sir,
Please,
Sean.
good news, Sean. Please, good news, Sean.
No,
more stats. Miami, the first team since at least 2000 to record 27 plus first downs and score 0 touchdowns.
Yeah, told you it wasn't going to be pretty. You don't want to hear that. That's inept.
It's inept, but look, they had 27 first. That means they can move the ball. Well, the story going into this game was the offenses aren't going to do much, and then Miami didn't do much because they scored 9 points.
That's like getting faulty Viagra.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You scored 9 points, and they had almost 400 yards of offense. So it's like complain. Yes, we only scored 9 points. They moved the ball the whole field. They moved the ball between the 20s. And look, I don't understand why everybody.
You understand close only counts in hand grenades and horseshoes.
Listen, man,
you can't just.
Miami wasn't supposed to win this game. Miami wasn't supposed to win this game. Everybody in the beginning of the year had everybody 2-1 right now. Had Miami 2-1.
Yeah.
And you wanted to lose a close game at A&M. What happened? So now we're gonna go back and say this, that, I'll shut up if we go over there and win and lose a close game.
Well,
then shut up.
Yeah, but the ugly play is that to me, that's what the terrible penalties, the turnover.
And by the way, I wasn't talking to you. I'm talking in general.
No, I
wasn't talking about
you.
We're
good. I'm not worried about that. We're good. But I'm just saying, to me, it's how you lost is the problem today, and that's what Mario has to clean up. Your team's not that good. You need to play smart. Your team's not that good. You need to play special teams. You've got to be really good on special teams. So if your team's not that good, we now know through 3 games, it's not a really good offense. Okay, the receivers are incredibly questionable. All right, well, you better figure some stuff out. And by the way, the offensive line, they had some guys get banged up. So DJ Scaife got banged up. That's not good either. So these are things that we have to worry about also because it kind of piles on to the problems of the offense.
So Inez Cooper was used a lot in the first, I can't even say the first 2 games. I saw him a lot in the last game. I'm not sure how much he played in the Bethune game. I'm thinking about what you're saying about trying to find new ways and trying to score and whatever. You want to know what this tells me? Yes, Miami's receiver struggles, okay, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Do you really start to lean on the run more? Are you gonna cut your offense in half because you know you can't throw the ball and you're gonna we're a running team 99% of the time? You can't do that, right?
I'm glad you asked me that because this is something I want to talk about on this show today. Is Mario Cristobal conservative? Because he was conservative at Oregon and after choking Herbert finally got to the NFL, they actually opened up with choke. Maybe Mario kind of knew he had a yellow stripe behind his back, so that's why he didn't want him to air it out and put him in those kind of positions like he's been in the NFL where he has 4 fourth quarter sixes in a very short career. So maybe, but he was conservative at Oregon.
Yeah.
So today, 3rd down and 6, I believe it was, and you went for a running play and took the ball out of your quarterback's hands. At Oregon, when he would take the ball out of the quarterback's hands, he'd still put it in his gut because the kid ran a lot at Oregon. If you remember correctly with Herbert, he ran a lot at Oregon. I mean, it seemed like I almost remember Herbert with more runs than actual memorable throws at Oregon, actually. And so I'm wondering, Mike, that 3rd and 6 call today, whether it was Gaddis or he approved it, the headset on, and he can say, no, let's throw it. I don't want a run play here. Let's throw it, guys. Let's throw it. He didn't change the play. He didn't do anything. He went with it. So that's one question. As much as I like Mario, I got to wonder, is this a characteristic of Mario Cristobal, or is this an aberration like DJ Ivy?
I don't think that was 3rd down. Oh,
yeah, it was.
The play that TVD kept it, I think that was
the
a 2nd
down and 6, where they settled for a field goal. The play that they settled for a field goal on 4th down. They ran the ball. I forgot.
Oh, but that wasn't a TVD play, I don't think.
No, it wasn't
a TVD.
Oh,
okay.
Gives a shit who ran it.
Yeah.
You ran it.
Yeah.
I don't care if Mario Cristobal came in there to run the goddamn ball.
So
they
what
ran
do you?
The ball. I forgot who ran it. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. No, but what are you calling? What are you calling questionable? The fact that he didn't throw on 3rd, or the fact that he went for the field goal, or the fact that he went for the field goal on 4th?
Your pathetic offense is never in the red zone. You have a hard time getting in the red zone. You're finally in the red zone. I would have thrown on 3rd and 4th down. I would have never even tried a field goal.
Okay, well, this is
the entire dice on the game right there and then. I would have put it in TVD's hands, and I would have tried to hit Mallory. I would have tried to do something, hit the running back in the flats and see if he can run it in or whatever. But I had to get that 1st down, but I was not going to run it on 3rd and 6.
Okay, I'm thinking that you're saying conservative because he went for the field goal. First of all, I think that was the right play because you give yourself a chance at the end of the game.
Passed on 3rd. And
no.
The field goal.
I definitely wouldn't have ran it on 3rd. But guess what? This is who Mario is. So to answer your question, I don't think it's him being conservative. It's him being a running coach. That's what it is. It's him being a running coach, and it's him saying my receivers aren't getting off the line. They're not getting separation. So that gives me more incentive to run the ball. Think about it. It gets harder inside the 20, right? They were inside the 10 when that happened. So you want to put 3 receivers out there expecting they get open in a telephone booth?
3rd and goal from the 6, and Jalen Knighton, the Rooster, runs for 2 yards.
There you go.
4th and goal. Borregales comes out for a 22-yarder.
So are we gonna do the very thing that we're complaining about in this game? We're gonna roll our receivers out there when they can't even get out the line?
Well, you find another way to get it in there. You throw it to Mallory.
I will say this. Last year,
you can throw it to.
excuse me. Sorry. I will say this. I was going to say last year, but it's the last 2 years with Rhett Lastly calling plays. For whatever reason, the man did not throw fades in the red zone ever. With Gaddis being the tight end lover that he is, I thought we would have at least seen one guy flex out wide for a fade, whether it be Mallory or Royal. Didn't see that. But I definitely would have thrown it on 3rd. I think it's the right play to not go for it on 4th.
Well,
okay.
And by the way, kudos, because I forgot to mention, and somebody mentioned it here. You're playing. Jason Myers. They were playing 3rd string CBs. I mean, are the receivers that bad? And that's
another reason why he ran it.
Another reason why I'm taking a chance on 3rd and 6 and 4th and 6.
But he just said your receivers can't get off the line. Oh,
okay. So then I'm using Mallory. I'm using the running backs in the flats. Yeah. I'm trying something, but I'm throwing the ball.
No, I agree. I'm throwing it too.
At that moment, and I'm not just throwing on 3rd and 6. I'm throwing on 4th down too. On 4th and 4, I'm not settling for a damn field goal and going, okay, 17-6, we're fine now. Let's go. We're down by 11. No, bro, I'm not doing that.
You do that and don't convert it, and then you just coach yourself out of the game. Okay.
You were out of the game anyway, man. Your field goal, you've missed field goals already as it is. Your offense
they lost by 8 points. How are you out of the game? Oh, you lost by 8 points.
You're out of the game.
How are you out of the game?
You're out of the game.
It's a one-score game.
I know, but you didn't get there. You never got there. You never got to the point that you even had a chance to score, dude. You never got there.
At the last play, at the last possession, you didn't. But
ends in the red zone with you attacking the end zone. It was never that.
So you'd rather have the game be over in the fourth quarter because the other team's gonna go down and score. Look, I get it. A&M would have
quarter. It would have been the third quarter, right?
The third
was 17.
I think that was the third. I don't remember. Now I don't remember. I honestly don't remember.
Yes, 6:25 in the third. Was the third quarter. Yeah, in the third quarter. For me, the game was on the line right there in that third quarter. Your offense is so bad. You must get 6 there. You must get 6. You walk away with 3, you lose that game. And guess what happened? You lose that game. Because that's it. You had made all your mistakes up to that point already as it is. And you had proven to be inept up until that point. Once you're there, you got to find a way to stick it in there, dude. And you got to use whatever you can. I just, I would have gone the other way on that one. Unfortunately.
I see both sides of the fence. I see why people would say you go, and I see the side where you say give me the points. Because it's not like if they were down by 14 points and you go kick a field goal. They were never down double digits.
No.
Were they?
Yeah, 17-6.
17-6, okay. And then it was still, you kicked
hit
and it was
field goal, then you're down by 11. You got a terrible offense. You're not down by 1 score at that point. You're down by multiple scores with no offense. That's why you must hit a touchdown. So that way, instead of 17-6, it's 17-10. And now you're in a score. Now you're in a game. Now you got a chance. And you've lifted your team. By the way, that was another thing, I think, Mike. You send a terrible message to your offense by 3rd and 6, we're going to run the ball. You send a terrible message to your quarterback. You got to
again. I think that has to do with knowing that
my most important player and my best player, Tyler Van Dyke.
Agreed. That's how I'm coaching it. That's exactly how I'm coaching it in my head.
What happened with the Broncos this past week? The guy went for that was 4-yard field goal. And you're paying this guy $150 million. The most clutch player on the goddamn field, and you take the ball out of Russell Wilson's hands.
That was idiotic.
Living and dying with Tyler Van Dyke. It's the only chance we have. If I'm the Canes and I'm the coaching staff, I'm saying I'm living and dying because that's the only chance we have. No one else has a chance to really live.
Half of this broadcast, half of the 43 minutes and 52 some odd seconds that we've been talking about how the receivers can't get off the line. So when you're in a telephone booth and you know your receivers can't get off the line and they haven't been getting off the line, but you have outgained A&M's rushing offense by 30, 40 yards, you do consider, damn, my guys can't get off the line. It's harder to score inside the end zone. That goes into the play calling. Would I have thrown it? Yes, I would have. But I'm just trying to look at both sides of the fence and see why he didn't throw the ball.
Yeah. Devin Jordan, by the way, thank you, sir. A little love there on the super chat. Appreciate you as always. Says, Big O, I missed the Canes up-tempo offense from last year when Rhett Lashie was the OC. Yeah, but you also miss the receivers.
Mm-hmm.
They had 2 guys that could play some ball. Okay, and so that's that. The guys that are there now, Devin, it's a monster downgrade right now from what they had. I mean, with Charleston, you score because all you got to do is throw it up to him right there in those situations.
Yeah,
and he would have come down with those. You might have had a better shot with your receivers from last year. But unfortunately, this year, this is not the group that is the kind that you can rely on a consistent basis.
You want to know?
Tight ends and running backs are their main. That's why you had to work the middle of the field and use the tight ends and use the back. That's what I would have used. I would have thrown to those guys. But
I'm just doing some math in my head, and I just pissed myself off. So, missed field goal, 9-12, right?
Yeah.
Blocked field goal, 9-15. Can you imagine? And I get it. If my uncle, if my whatever had balls, she'd be my uncle. Imagine Tyreek does the right thing, fair catches it, and Miami gets a field goal on that drive. That's 18-17.
Yeah, of course. And that's what will. And I think that's what's rubbing a lot of the fans the wrong way today, Mike. It's not so much that you lost, because you kind of figure really deep down inside, if you really think they should lose at Texas A&M, they're really not that good of a program. But considering you shot yourself in the foot so many times, that's the part. It's not so much that they beat you. It's more that you beat yourself on a consistent basis throughout the night, whether it was players or coaches, in my eyes, because this is a game where I got to lay it a lot on the players and Manny Diaz, because, he didn't leave a lot of, enough great players, but that's fine. But I got to also lay a little bit on Mario too. I'm going to lay some on Mario and Gaddis. I got to be fair. I got to hand off the disappointment pie. If I'm going to break up the pie, the disappointment pie, you get a slice. I'm going over. You get a slice, and you get a slice, and you get a slice, and everybody gets a slice. So I'm going to give everybody a slice, except on defense.
Yeah.
I could go with the Williams. There were a couple penalties, whatever, but
because they were good enough to make up for those mistakes.
The defense did enough to win this game, so
they did.
They get none of the pie. But the coaching staff, special teams, and offense, they get all of the pie.
Miami Kid J, nothing has changed. Same mistakes as last year. The offense is famine. J Kid, what the hell are you watching? That's all I have to say. That's all I'm going to address that with. Nothing is the same. It's the same. Dude, does Miami go into Atlanta looking like this? J Kid, what the hell are you looking at, dude?
Well, he's just come on, man. They lost and the way they lost.
Come on, man.
You're not going to make a lot of people happy, Mike. This is not going to make anybody happy.
Okay, but don't sit here and say it's the same as last year. Last year's team would have gone to A&M and lost by not a score. Come on, man. What are you looking at? Yeah. Get real with yourself. Like this team. Go ahead, O.
No, go ahead.
I'm saying, like, and we were just talking about it with before. Like, even after the first two games with the inferior performance of who they were, you saw a different team, because those two games, there wasn't that much disciplinary problems as was tonight. Okay, yeah. That's number one. Number two, they looked organized. Last year, they didn't look organized at all. Okay, this is the first game Miami looks really unorganized.
Today they were a little unorganized.
Today are the first two games, but
and by the way, man. Papa has a great point.
And no, A&M is not that good. I know they're not that good, but guess what? Miami was still supposed to lose this game, period. So if you're not happy with the way Miami looked in this game, again, ask yourself what you're watching, fam.
But Papa has a good point, and then I'm going to add to his point. He says, so App State can beat them, but we can't. What does that say about our program? And wait a minute. Let me add one more thing. App State not only beat them, they beat them down. They manhandled that same team that Miami played tonight. Miami did not manhandle Texas A&M.
Okay.
App State manhandled them. They physically wore them down, and that big back wore their ass out, dude. So that's where I gotta say, he's right about that.
Okay, well, let me debunk that.
Way better.
Let me debunk that real quick.
Than Miami did.
Let me debunk that real quick, because Miami was in a lose-lose situation if you won this game or if you lost this game, because guess what? You beat them, or you should have beat them, because App State beat them, right? And if you lose to them, Papa, people like that.
Yeah, but that's not that.
App State beat them, so you couldn't beat them.
That's not an explanation for performance.
Hold up. But Miami didn't get beat down in the trenches. Miami didn't get beat down in the trenches. Miami wore them down. They were able to run the ball all over them. They were able to run the ball all over them, and they controlled that defense the defensive line.
Yeah, but Miami's offense did not control the offensive line, did not get it done when they had to get it done.
No,
So that's the
but it's
bottom
not
line,
like if
too.
but they didn't dominate both sides of the ball. They didn't dominate both sides of the ball, though. They didn't dominate both sides of the ball.
No, I know that, but overall, he's right. The App State performance is way better than Miami's performance because they won. And they were the better team that day. They were the more physical
and
team.
anyone that saw you didn't even have to see last week's game to know what I'm about to say. Did you really expect the same A&M team? Nobody did.
No. I mean, and
that question is not to. It was
this
to
A&M team was not impressive. I'm not impressed at all by this A&M team. Nope. At all. It's not like I saw a team come back from last week's loss and they came in there tonight and came in with some incredible motivation and dominated, dude. This was a mediocre team that beat a mediocre team.
They did it, and Miami beat themselves. And if I could come away from a game feeling like that, I'm happy because we didn't get dominated. Miami
All right, let's get to our EJDconstruction.com Miami Hurricanes post-game report here with my man Manny Navarro. Manny, how you doing, my brother? How you feeling? You feeling good?
I'm feeling good, man. I think if we all said to each other, hey, they're going to go into Texas A&M and lose 17-9 and have a chance to win the game in the fourth quarter and outgain them by over 100 yards and lose the game because you muffed a punt and had a couple bad red zone possessions, I think most Miami fans would have taken it before the season. I think obviously there's disappointment now because you know that Texas A&M lost to Appalachian State. But to me, considering all the circumstances, the fact that they dominated the line of scrimmage on both sides, there's a lot of good to take from it. And I still think this is a team that can win the division and get to the ACC title game playing this kind of style, playing this kind of defense, and running the ball the way that they did tonight.
The only problem I have I have a big problem with today's game is the way you lost. You had a chance to win. The missed field goals, the mistakes, the penalties. That to me was really disappointing today. Special teams alone was so terrible on the covering of the kicks, missing the field goals. That's the 3rd and 6. You ran the ball when I'm living and dying with TVD, bro. I'm putting the ball in. In fact, I'm not even settling for the field goal to make it 17-6. I'm going for a touchdown even on 4th down. And so a little bit of the conservative calls there, which kind of, reminds me a little bit of the conservative stuff I saw at Oregon at times. So those are some of my concerns in this game. It's how you lost and a little bit of that conservative characteristic. How much should I be concerned about that?
Well, I think, look, that's Mario's style, right? Every coach kind of has something that's their trademark, and Mario's style is keep it close, try to win in the fourth quarter, and that's not always going to be satisfactory. You're going to want them to put their foot on the gas pedal when they can and not keep teams close. I think tonight you come into this environment, you're down your best receiver. This was the game they wanted to play. They didn't want to make mistakes, and in the end, the offense really didn't make mistakes other than not executing in the red zone. They were good between the 20s, and they had some really bad field position most of the game. So to me, it's the play calling in the red zone. It's taking a shot. Throw the ball to Will Mallory in the end zone. Give Elijah Arroyo a shot in the end zone. I agree with you. I think that's the one area for certain that you can sit here and question. What you can't necessarily complain about is the game plan, because I thought, we talked about it the week leading up. You run the ball down these guys' throats. You keep
yes.
And they did it. I mean, the defense,
but they couldn't finish it.
Right.
That's the thing.
And that's what happens if you don't have a receiver. That's what happens if you don't have a go-to guy. To be honest, That's what it is. If you have Charleston Rambo out here tonight, do you lose this game?
No, we just talked about that. You throw a couple in the end zone and he comes down with it. They had nobody to throw a fade to. You know what I mean? But okay, so why not use their tight ends a little bit more, Manny? Why not get them involved in the middle of the field? Even on that 3rd and 6, why not throw it to the backs out in out in the flats or something, why not try to find somebody in some kind of space? Because, yeah, you ran the ball down their throats, but then when you really wanted to get the 3rd and 6 and even 4th and 4, you didn't count on your running game, and your running game didn't bail you out at that moment. So you couldn't really drive the nail all the way down.
No, you couldn't. And that's, look, there's going to be regret. Mario had regret all over his face, leaving the stadium tonight. Talked about, obviously the muffed punt that killed them, and really I thought took the wind out of their sails. If that doesn't happen, they're probably leading and they're not having to play catch up, and we're not sitting here questioning their offensive play calling because they've probably got the lead, and Texas A&M's the one that has to make the play. So
right.
Everything swung on that muff punt, man. And to me,
the muff punt and the first drive.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Really, because you allowed them to start at the 40 or something, and then you allowed them to march right down and get 3 points. And those 10 points right there are the buffer in the entire game.
Yeah. And Borregales doesn't usually have too many kicks blocked. I mean, that was just a low drive. Got you get the 3 points there, and now Texas A&M feels a little more pressure, right? Now you're giving up a touchdown at the end and losing the lead, not playing with 8 and a little more comfortable. So who knows what would have happened? I just know this. I know Miami fans are angry. I know they're frustrated with the offense, but I still come away leaving here like, you know what? If they got an offensive line and a defensive line that can do this to an SEC team that obviously is very talented, then they should be able to do this to everybody in the ACC.
You see, Manny, I thank you for being the voice of reason in here, because I don't know if you're able to read these comments yet, but if you are, don't forget about it, because you're just going to want to leave and get on the plane and come home. All right. I am not losing my mind. I am very encouraged. What O said is 100% right. I definitely would throw the ball there, but I'm not going to complain about 2% of play calling, because 98% of the play calling on Gaddis's part tonight was good, considering you don't really have stuff to throw at on the outside because receivers can't get open. Okay. Yeah. Like you said, excuse me, the game plan getting here was time control, run the ball. They did that, and you just got to fine tune some things. And I'm sorry, with the all-star cast that Miami has hired, I'm betting on that not being an issue. I'm very encouraged.
Yeah.
I have the solution, Manny.
What's that?
What the hell is John Ruiz doing, bro? Let's go get Oronde Gadsden the second. That's all right now. Wait a minute. You can't transfer mid-season. You can't he just get him like an NIL deal right now and have Gadsden suit up for Middle Tennessee State this week? We can't have a trade or something. We'll trade like McCoy for Oronde Gadsden. Can we do that? We'll throw in Chad too. Okay, I mean, come on. Can we do something? How about this? What we'll do is we'll switch receivers in the middle of the night. We'll drop off Romeo over there, and then we'll just bring Oronde over, and that's it. And then he could just wear Oronde's jersey over there, and then Brinson here. Oronde will wear Brinson's jersey, and nobody will know, just us.
The size difference won't give it away at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. Everything's hidden inside the helmet. We're fine.
Hey, they tried to get Zay Flowers here, okay? Zay Flowers is a hometown kid, all ACC type receiver out of Boston College. And yes, it's tampering or whatever you want to call it. But the bottom line is they tried. They went, look, Frank Latson, right? Another hometown kid. You bring him home from Clemson. Where was he tonight, right? Where did he show up? Look, the transfer portal, you're not always going to hit home runs. And part of the reason guys are in the transfer portal is because they're not that good at wherever they were at. It's not like great players get in the transfer portal that often, right? Like, how many Jordan Addisons do you find?
Hey, Jalen Phillips.
Well, and that's the point, though. We can name a few of them, right? Difference maker. Jermaine Johnson from Florida State.
Charleston Rambo, right? Isn't Charleston Rambo?
But again, there's like 1 or 2 every class. It's not 12. And Miami needs 12. They needed 12 in this class, not just, some really good.
Somebody kidnap Oronde Gadsden.
Manny.
His dad lives here. Damn it. Why doesn't his dad kidnap him? Homesick? Doesn't that shit happen anymore? Homesick? You're freezing your ass in Syracuse. Get your ass down here, Oronde. the hell is going on? That kid
Manny,
is clutch.
one of the things headed into this game was the recruiting element and how big that story would have been. I know that, that's not one of the things you pay most attention to, but without knowing anything from the outside looking in, you got to feel that the Miami guys, or the guys that still have interest, the guys who are at this game battling it out between these two schools, they can't come away saying anything bad about Miami.
No, I mean, I think, again, like I wrote this week that the biggest thing Miami couldn't afford was to get blown out and embarrassed in this game. And they weren't blown out and embarrassed. They had a chance in the fourth quarter. And for all these receivers that were here watching this game in person, the Hakeem Williams of the world, for instance, if you watch this game in person, you're like, man, they only had me, right? They only had me in there. I'd make those catches. I'd make those plays. Look, to me, recruiting is perception, right? And how far away you really are, how close you are, what it is that you need, how it is that you use those players. Miami gave their receivers every opportunity tonight to make plays. Was Tyler Van Dyke perfect? No. He said it himself afterward. The throw that he missed to Michael Redding on the crossing pattern is one that he will lament for a while. That throw in the third quarter, that if he connects there, who knows where Redding is? He might have gotten in the end zone. But look, the bottom line is they know that this roster is getting better, and they know that this team just went on the road in front of 107,000 people and didn't embarrass themselves. And they look closer to being the kind of program you want them to be than what they were last year and the year before that and the year before
that. Mallory, are we convinced that his neck is made of steel?
We were all worried for him. And, he said basically that he knew it wasn't serious, but it was precautionary. They told him not to move. What scared him was everybody running to him more than anything else, right? Freaking out. And you see like, oh, man, everybody's panicked. Did I not notice that something fell off or something like that? So he that scared him. But the injury itself, what happened to his neck, no. He said in the end he wasn't hurt. He just landed on his head really hard. And, hopefully there's no repercussions. He doesn't wake up tomorrow with a stiff neck or anything like that. God knows Miami can't afford to not have him, especially knowing now that Xavier Restrepo's out for 6 weeks.
All right, well, what do we know about DJ Scaife?
Yeah, I saw him in the fourth quarter standing on the sidelines. He had a little bit of a limp to him, but he was still in his uniform. He didn't have to go back to the locker room. So to me, not a serious knee injury. If it was, I'm sure he probably would have gone back. But, he'll probably be out sometime. That's what happens in the middle of the season. You got a game to play next week, and you got a bye week after that. My guess is DJ Scaife probably won't be back the earliest until after that bye week.
Mike, you got something else?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much.
Right.
I'm just
listen. If Trump can trade Puerto Rico for Greenland, we can trade for a Ronde. Okay, I mean, I'm just saying.
Get it done, John Freeze.
Just talk to Rui. It'll be huge. I'm telling you. Okay.
Yeah, they definitely need that. But hey, I was proud of this defensive line, by the way. I mean,
they were awesome. No,
they were relentless all night.
Defense, the secondary, which is much maligned.
DJ Ivy.
Yeah, DJ Ivy finally showed up. I mean, wow, there's somebody got him off the milk carton. Let's see.
Yeah,
holy. Yeah, but Mike was trying to talk up DJ, like, hey, no, we gotta give DJ. And I'm like, DJ
he had a good game. He had a good game.
Did you see New Jack City? You remember New Jack City, man?
Years ago, brother. Yes, very.
Do you remember when Ice-T turned to Pookie and said, Pookie, you owe a lot of people, Pook, right? Well, I just want to, DJ Ivy, you owe a lot of people, all right? So nice performance, young man, but you need to string a few more together there, okay? That's all I'm saying.
If the pass rush is that good every single week, he's going to look great the rest of the season.
Yeah. No, I love. We said the pie today, the blame pie goes all to the offense, special teams, and some coaching decisions there. But the defense, they get no blame pie. They played today to win the game.
Yeah.
Because think about it. The 2 field goals puts you at 15 points. That's all. That's all you need to do. And then if you don't give up the damn muff punt, you're winning this game, dude, overall. So, and the first drive too was kind of ugly. So Yeah,
What do we
the defense did their jobs today, man. Got to give
what
them love.
what do we think at best this Texas A&M team really is? Because they started the season
Not
number
good.
6 in the country. I say
They're-
8-4. I say 8-4 in the SEC, which probably would be good enough to go 10-2 in the ACC.
Now,
I
right,
think that's
exactly.
a top 20 team. I think that's a
No,
top 20 team at the end of the year.
Stop it. Stop it.
It's a
They're
top
gonna add
20
like
team at the end of the
2 or 3
year.
more losses. They're going to add 2 or 3 more losses to this. Now, listen.
They're going to get better.
We had Jeff Tarpley on, okay? Great find, by the way, by Mikey. Jeff Tarpley joined us. He said like 65 of their players are either true freshmen or freshmen. So the team is just so young. They're probably really talented. You know when we're going to say Texas A&M is really good? In 2023.
Right,
Not
when
this.
they come to Miami.
Yeah, exactly. When they come to Miami, and hopefully Mario's got receivers at that point. All right. Any final thoughts there before we let you go and you're off on that big old jet plane?
Yeah. No, my final thoughts are, hopefully they find a receiver to step up. I thought Jacoby George at times tonight showed you something, right? He had a catch and run that I thought was pretty impressive, that he got inside of the red zone. So to me, Jacoby George is another positive to take out of this.
Yeah, he did make some plays coming off suspension. I like that. All right, Manny. Appreciate you as always, my brother. Safe travels. We'll talk later on in the week. Thank you.
All right, guys. Take care.
You got it. There you go. The great Manny Navarro right from the field there. Ha, ha. At Texas A&M. Ha. True Fin fan. Thank you, sir. You said I said 10-2. Losses to the Aggies and Clemson. Yeah, that could happen. Depends. As long as they don't play like they played today. You play like you played today, you'll lose more than 2. Guaranteed. You got to play smarter than what you played today. You would agree with that, Mike?
Yeah. You can't the muff punt thing. Okay, and I think the playing better goes more to the players, because I'm big on players play, coaches coach. I'm big on players play, coaches coach, and TVD. Listen, if he has a better throwing game, that maybe goes different. If Borregales gets the kick high enough, it doesn't get blocked. He makes the other one. That's 6 points. Timely drops that last play as off as it looked. That drop on Brashard Smith, it went through his hands. The ball got there, went through his hands. Yes, DVD didn't play his best game, but let's not act like he had the best help, because that's something we've been saying. All broadcast long, that the guys aren't getting open. So X being gone obviously means a lot, but this is what Broyles Award winner Josh Gaddis was brought here for. Okay. And I'm sorry, guys, didn't you see a lot more newness in that offense? A lot more formations, a lot more stuff you didn't see. He opened it up.
You just need talent.
Yeah, he opened it up. And, it's not that he wasn't calling stuff downfield. It was covered. It was covered.
How about some stickum? Let's get some stickum for the receivers. Maybe that'll help out.
Damn it. And the reason I come away encouraged is because, like I said, this loss is on Miami beating themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't do anything. That's why I'm encouraged. That's why I'm encouraged.
And I think that's why there's so much discouragement right now. That's why
100%.
That's why I'm pissed personally at the performance. I'm pissed
100%.
I'm pissed at the special teams, the offense, and the coaching staff, especially Mario and Gaddis, let down the defense today. That's where I feel bad. I feel bad for Steele and the boys, because they did their job. They played on the road in a really tough environment where they packed in 107,000, not 102. They shit all over the Canes sidelines with all the horses. They suspended players and everything, and they still ended up losing. It's frustrating, bro. It's frustrating.
Yeah, when you hold this A&M team to 17 points, you're supposed to win.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Miami, in nobody's mind, was not hitting double digits in scoring. In nobody's
Little
mind.
did we know the horses in the pregame would actually represent the performance by the offense and the special teams. Little did we know that those turds falling from the horse's ass would be exactly those horses saying, here's how your offense and your special teams will perform. Plop, plop.
It was the juju right there. There was a comment made that I want to address by Papa at 127. He said, and bad time management with timeouts. I disagree.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
and by the way, at the end, what the hell were they doing? Waiting to get rid of the ball. Like, yo, dude, let's go. Yeah, there wasn't enough desperation at times with the clock. Yeah.
The third down.
Yes.
I have one problem with the whole thing because when they did what they didn't show was that who made the catch? Who made the reception for the Canes?
When? What?
At the end of the game, when they were talking about the time management at the end of the game, and they were talking about the Canes not getting back to the ball.
Yeah.
The receiver was stuck in the
That was on a punt.
No. It was on the receiving. It was he caught it for the first down. He got tackled out of bounds, and his face mask was stuck on something on the Texas A&M players, and the two referees were trying to get him separated, but they never stopped the clock. The clock just kept running, and then he finally got up, and that's why he looked so discombobulated, because he was down there. His face mask was stuck in the Texas A&M. I'm gonna try to see if they got it on video anywhere.
And they didn't call a timeout. That's supposed to be a stoppage of play.
They didn't stop the clock at all. They just let it keep running.
That's supposed to be a stoppage of play. But to me, it wasn't bad timeout management at all, because that first timeout in the fourth quarter, or in the first half, in the second half, they had to use it because there was some miscommunication. They were lining up for a punt and in and out, the substitution and all that stuff. But towards the end of the game, the time management and the timeout management was masterful. It was masterful because they were even saying, okay, now is when you call a timeout, and he called timeout right when, everybody was saying, okay, now is a good time to call timeout, because I was saying it too. I think it was with like 50-something or 40-something seconds left, and then they still had one. Yeah, because there was two at that point. So that was perfect timeout management towards the end of the game there.
When Headley punted the 49-yarder, I think they were talking about it because they snapped it at 4 minutes, 4:03, and then the fourth down didn't go off till 3:20. And so
off the punt, right?
On the punt.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what it was. Like, yo, you're taking too long to get the punt off. You need to get that thing going. But again,
that's what I thought I was talking about.
And that's special teams. And so special teams was a disaster today. It was a disaster. It was just, and that's all part of this frustration for me, for a lot of people, is just that it was a disaster. All right. It is time to wrap it up here on the show. We thank Manny Navarro. We thank Jeff Tarpley, of course. We thank Chad Shobe. And, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, that is Sean Stanley, the man that masters all of this every single day, does a marvelous job as always. Mike McCoy, my partner in crime here, sir. Excellent job by you. I wish the offense and the special teams would have performed half as good as you today, and we would be talking about a win. That's all I got to say.
Can we talk about where we're going to do things next Saturday, or not yet?
Nope. Can't do anything. Can't do anything. We will not talk about anything. Don't say anything. Don't jinx anything. Do anything. All right. We will see you tomorrow morning, by the way. I'll be back. Yeah, come on. Get you ready for Dolphins and, of course, those stinking Ravens. Going to bust wing on those Ravens and win. So we will start at 11 a.m. We'll get you ready for that. We'll have the insiders in the locker rooms, and we'll have the press conferences from Mike McDaniel and Tua. We'll have all of that for you. We thank all of you out there that tuned in, watched us during our pregame and postgame. We'll be back next week for the Middle Tennessee game Tuesday night. Hardcore college football coverage. We've got our state of Florida gridiron roundtable with Manny Navarro from the Canes, Ira Schofel from the Seminoles, and Kevin Brockway from the Gators from 7 to 8 p.m. And then from 8 to 9, this gentleman that is right here next to me hosts the Miami Hurricanes Watch, one entire hardcore hour of Hurricanes talk. So you'll have Hurricanes talk within 2 hours, but obviously in that first hour, there's some other talk about the Gators and the Seminoles, but we'll get some Canes talk in there too with Manny Navarro. So insiders that cover the three state teams every single day in the locker rooms, covering the games there for you. So Tuesday nights, 7 to 9 p.m., some hardcore college football talk. Make sure you join us here on the platform. Subscribe, folks. Hit that notification bell. That way you know when these shows are firing off and we are live. Notification bell helps you out. On behalf of Mike McCoy, I am Orlando Alzugaray and Sean Stanley and Chad Shobe. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Thank you for tuning in to our Miami Hurricanes pre- and post-game show on the Sports Talk 305 Network.
This has been the Miami Hurricanes post-game show on the Sports Talk 305 Network. The show is mastered by Sean Stanley and Chad Shobe. Please subscribe to our platform by searching Big O Radio Show on all digital avenues. On behalf of our staff, we thank you for supporting us. Have a fantastic week.